Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Always the Worst in review of The Simpsons, or The Simpsons in review, whatever way you'd like to say it.
Nice one.
We recovered well.
We did it.
As you all know, we took last week off because of the situations that's been going on, and I was also not doing very well. But we're back, second half of season 1, and we're ready to just kind of dive into this and start
We're in it.
throwing out mad theories about The Simpsons.
Oh, it's going to be good. Are we drinking tonight, Chris?
No, I'm on
Ah,
the coffee.
oh well, maybe you should up your game then.
I would, but Donna thinks I'm slowly turning into an alcoholic, so I need to.
We opened a bottle of champagne yesterday, and we've not got through it yet. So I'm chin chin, everyone.
Hey, good on you. Oh,
Anyway, Simpsons.
Simpsons.
Let's get into it. God, there's some big episodes to talk about in this, but
as it is with our thoughts on season 1 in general, they're a lot more deep than some of the newer stuff, and this
Mhm.
start of the second half of the season actually starts off pretty light, in my opinion.
Oh yeah, no, the Call of the Simpsons. Yeah, I was like, I forgot the episode. Call of the Simpsons is brilliant. The one where they get the RV
Yeah.
and get lost in the wild.
Basic setup is Homer and Bart see that the Flanderses have a lot more stuff than them and better things, and they decide to go buy an RV because Ned has an absolute baller RV. And in true Simpsons fashion, they end up with the worst of the worst. It has branches coming out of it. It's not great, to be fair. And they decide we're going to go to the wild. We're going to live like woodsmen, and then hilarity ensues. The usual any mishap.
Homer gets mistaken for the Sasquatch.
It is a
Um,
tale of unfortunate
Mag-
events, isn't it?
Maggie gets adopted by a family of bears.
That's a
You know, classic family drama
that's
stuff.
a storyline that I need to know more of. Of like what
Ah.
happened with Maggie and the bears, because she was there for
I
like
just
2
love
days.
I just love how the bears just kept bringing her toys.
Annoying.
It was like, yeah.
Yeah.
Are you entertained yet, small child?
Are you not entertained?
Ah.
But yeah, it was one of the smaller ones. I don't think there's much to talk about outside of it was just a nice comedy episode.
It was, you know what, in light of everything else that's gone on with that season, because let's face it, like the previous couple to that one were fairly serious. This is just good to show that like the show is still a comedy.
Yes.
It's a family drama, but it's still a comedy. It can still just have a bit of fun.
Yeah, because the ones before that, like Moaning Lisa, Homer's Odyssey, Bart the Genius, there were some like heavy subjects of depression and everything in that, and losing your job.
Oh
And then
yeah,
they took a
absolutely.
mid-season break and went, let's show the cartoony side of the family, and it hit the
Yeah.
mark. It was light, it was pretty breezy, and that's kind of it with that one. So I'd like to breeze past because things start really
Yes.
ramping up in the next couple
Oh.
episodes.
The Telltale Head. Now, there's a couple big topics in this one. Is obviously we've got peer pressure, huge thing that would affect Bart. In fact, it would affect all of the Simpsons to an extent. Is peer pressure, because we've all been affected by peer pressure at some point, whether we would like to admit it or not. We probably have, and guilt. Guilt is a big thing, big factor in most people's lives, and it's not the first time. Oh, sorry, this is the first time, but it's not the last time that the Simpsons would go near the telltale, the telltale story, because the diorama came back later on of the telltale heart. This is just in a different skin.
What I quite enjoy about this one is it's the first time you see Bart be bad. Like there's always this nod
Truly bad.
to Bart being bad, and I think they handled it really well of showing him he's actually bad because he wants people to like him, and it completely fails because he realizes the people he likes are just spineless when it comes to their bad behavior. It's like, oh, wouldn't it be cool if we cut off the head of Jebediah Springfield? And when he does it, like, no, you wouldn't do that. No, it's like, no, you're a shite bag, is what you are. If you're going to act the hard man, be the hard man. And that's what it annoyed me. And this when you first get introduced to Jimbo Jones, Kearney, and the other one,
Dolph.
What's awesome about all that is it's before Nelson is in their group, because you forget that they're much older than Bart.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're in like fucking 6th grade or something like that, where he's only in 4th.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, sorry, carry on.
It's just I found Marge. This is when I started realizing I was not a fan of Marge in early seasons because she is so conservative when it comes to everything. That's
Mm-hmm.
too violent. You have to go do this. You have to go do that. And then it brought a conversation up with me and Donna about
Mm-hmm.
the idea of, say, like Sunday school in The Simpsons,
Mm-hmm.
where instead of the parents teaching their kids morality, go learn it from these people. On you go. And then when
Yeah.
it doesn't work, they wonder why it didn't work. And went, well, maybe because you never taught them. And then they get to see you not really sticking to your convictions. So it brought up a different conversation for us of how they treated Bart through that when you go. But it brought up a really great point, actually, just off topic, is
Mm-hmm.
just that teacher losing her shit
Oh,
when he's like, Bart, the leg will be waiting for you in heaven if
yes.
you're a good
For the
person.
for the last time, Bart. Yes.
Oh, it's so good just watching him break her. But the Sunday school thing was an interesting part because that became a staple for a few seasons of them in Sunday school that died
But
away in the later seasons.
but what would happen if you were a good person for most of your life, and then you lost your leg while you were a good person, but then after that you became a bad person? Would your leg forever stay in heaven while you went to hell?
But that would just be
How,
beautiful justice.
how do,
Or you go to hell, right? And you're at one side of somewhere and your legs at a place where you need both legs to get there. So it's like
oh shit, that is hell.
it's just far enough away that you can't hop over it. But if you had an extra
Yeah.
leg, it's an
Oh,
easy jump.
oh, that's good.
Yeah.
No, that's good. Right. Telltale Head. Yeah, peer pressure. Obviously, Bart giving in to all that and doing the thing, but he truly feels guilty, and he wants to do well. And he at the end he just sort of apologizes, and it's all fine.
Yeah. Because it's only a 20-minute episode and we can't really do anything else. Do you know what I
I
love?
love that at the start. It's like how long will the story take? About 23
Yeah.
minutes.
No, it was very pathetic. It was like 22 minutes and 5 seconds. And I'm like, oh,
Yeah,
oh, what a good joke. What I like
yeah,
about it is he just shoves the head back on and it stays there. It's like,
yeah. It's almost like it just sort of like screws or
yeah.
slots into place, and you're just like, well, why did he need the saw?
Yeah. But his kind of just, his speech was lovely. And
Mhm.
I think it's something that people take on heart is, see if you truly apologise for something, take it. Like, accept the apology because he truly meant it. And it was just, he's talking about that we all do stuff without thinking. It's the minute it's done that you realise what you've done. And it
Yep.
was lovely because he's a 10-year-old. That's what kids do.
And that's yeah, he's still learning. So you need to, if a child comes forward and says, "I've done something wrong, I'm sorry,"
Yeah.
you can't really scold them so much for that. You've gone, well, you've realized you've done something wrong. You're still young. You're at the stage where you can make mistakes.
Yeah.
If you were, 3 times this age, if you were 30,
No.
no, okay.
Yeah. The big thing for me was it was one of the few episodes that brought Mr. Burns and Mo together. They had a nice wee conversation about how we shouldn't kill him anymore, and I'm like,
Yeah.
how do you even know each other? Like,
It was just crowd mentality. People just
yeah.
all when they're all in the same place. Ugh.
Now we get onto some of the big stuff and the life of the
Oh,
fast lane. I know we're kind of firing through these, but these
there's
episodes,
there's two big ones
yeah,
to talk about.
and
Are these next two?
and life in the fast lane is a very huge episode. Quick run through is Marge's birthday shows up, and Homer forgets yet again, as he does every year, and goes and buys her a bowling ball. Everybody's seen the gif of her just, sitting there, face tripping her with a bowling ball in her cake,
Yep.
and she decides to take up bowling. And in that taking up bowling, she meets Jacques, and Jacques teaches her how to bowl. And when
Mm-hmm.
Jacques teaches her how to bowl, they gain a bit of a slight romantic esque on the fence relationship
Mm-hmm.
that escalates into her realizing how much she loves Homer. But it's what happens in between all this is the build up and things that's really interesting to talk about, especially the episode next of everything that happens with Homer.
Oh yes. So absolutely, we can understand. Oh, Homer's forgot her birthday again. Dick move from Homer. Like dick move. Forgetting your wife's birthday is a stupid thing to do. Um, he, the gift obviously, so many times he's gone and ended up getting something for himself, and he's done exactly that. He's got a bowling ball, it's made to measure for him, it's got Homer engraved on it. But Marge did a really good spin on it and went, you know what? Fuck you. I'm going to take up bowling. Brilliant. You own it, girl. Yeah. You do it.
One of the best bits of that is when she goes and she's like, where can I throw this? And it's like, oh, no, you need a lane. She went, oh, I'm just doing this out of spite. You know that, right?
Yeah. So I just want to throw the ball, man.
Yeah. And it's when she introduced to Jack, who's this stereotypical ladies' man. They've even done the thing of making him like French or Italian or one of the kind of Mediterranean countries, because he's got a very Simpsons stereotypical accent. Sadly, Simpsons has its moments when it comes to this, which is not grand, but he has one of those kind of I am from Europe accents.
Yes.
And he's there to show how to bowl, but also pays her attention, which Marge is craving. Like, most of the things that's wrong with Marge is Homer doesn't pay her any attention whatsoever. And this ends up becoming a theme for the next few episodes going up. It's like happens in the next one, then it happens in the last episode of the season. It's all about their relationship. And it's a shame because you watch Homer realize something's happening, but he knows that it's his fault that it started. And it's such a crying shame, because I've never seen him actually look up properly upset till now. And just watching him, just like, I love you, Marjorie, as she leaves, as he knows she's going to go and have an affair. That moment is heart-wrenching for a cartoon for kids.
That's the sort of, like, I get Homer made a dick move, like, and at least he got her a gift, is like, you can kind of, it was a gift for him, but it's like when it's like when my dad buys anyone wine gums. They're his favorite sweet.
Yeah.
So he's going to eat them. But this isn't quite the same. But Marge's response is to go off and sort of essentially emotionally distance and emotionally abuse Homer and almost have a fucking affair.
Over
what?
Over a birthday gift. Let's put this as over a gift.
Exactly, a birthday gift. Ooh, you've aged a year. Fuck you.
This was something I had to bring up in this one because numbers came up. We had numbers rocking this one. I know we're going to take this off thing away, but I got so pissed I had to pause it and walk away for a bit. Homer is turned in £39, and I was like, I wonder how much that weighs in stone. It's 17 stone. Homer ain't that fucking big. After doing a wee bit of exercise, I've just lost enough to be under 17 stone. So I'm as fat as Homer. And I got really upset because I went, I'm balding. If I was to shave this bit away, I'm like, oh no, I'm basically Homer Simpson.
You were scared you were becoming Homer.
I thought I was becoming Homer, and I had to walk away for a bit. But yeah, that number's mental. Same with you start realising how young the Simpsons are, because Marge is only 34.
Yep, Homer's 38, 39 is 39, I believe it's.
I can't remember.
Yeah. And then they just stop aging forever.
Yeah, very true. But that episode does get into a lot of how their relationship is between the two of them.
Yeah.
And
it's actually brought up as a very, very clever, not very clever, but a very funny joke later on in so many future seasons. And Homer is just sitting on the couch with his feet up, and Marge is like hoovering or something, and Homer's like, the problem is communication. Too much communication. When it's quite the opposite, like, and that's exactly what would have fixed this, is obviously a simple, Homer, I'm worried that you're not paying me enough attention, or, something as simple as that.
Yeah.
But obviously that wouldn't make for a very good family drama now, would it?
Exactly. Me and Donna have discussions about this quite a bit, actually, about one of our biggest problems in a lot of film, well, not so much film, because they've got a shorter runtime, they have to get creative in how to do things. But see, a lot of television shows is, let's not have them speak to each other. That's the way to create conflict, is by hiding. We have Madison Supernatural, and it's 99% of the problems is one of the two brothers who has done something or knows something keeps it from the other one, which creates all the tension and drama, and everything later on that forces them to break up for a bit or go do stuff. And I'm like,
Yeah.
That's not how that works. Like, a normal person would go, we need to fucking talk or this is over. Like,
especially something to the the extent of supernatural and the ramifications that could have on, the world.
yep. So we've got a little bit of feedback from Donna and Mark, who bring up some fair points.
Sure.
Donna is kicked in with saying it's more so years of neglect, to be fair. Also many years of non-gifts, which is very true, actually.
Sure.
And Mark's kicked in as well. If you take in every other episode, you can see that he's failed on countless occasions, so maybe it's just the breaking point, like just give up on trying. Which I do agree with. I think there is a lot of... Homer is to blame for, like, sadly, 99% of their problems.
Absolutely.
It's just, I have an objection against that way of being. I think, see, if you decide that you're done with someone, be done with them and speak to them.
Yes.
I guess you have to change your heart before anything bad happens. These things happen, but I think her getting to that point is not the way to go about it. I don't think it's a good lesson because the kids notice all this. And I think
that's one of my main points that I was going to say just there is she still has a family. Fair enough if you feel you don't love your husband anymore. Fair enough if you think he's failed you, which he has on multiple occasions. But you still have a family, and in the old-fashioned sense, you still have the sanctity of marriage. So you're still you're willing to break all that in a second. And I don't... The marriage, to an extent, is less of a thing, but it's the kids, man.
Yeah. So...
you are breaking a family.
Yeah. I agree with Donna and Mark with her reasoning. She had her frame of mind was just... I just think, but again, it's a telly show. If they just sat and talked it out, it would make good watching. But the fact that she even went back to him, it's leaps and bounds on how they stay together.
Yeah,
it's pretty mental as a concept because these two are not, they're like oil and water.
Yeah,
but yet codependent. They're such an interesting dynamic that I don't quite understand.
But maybe we never need to understand it. Maybe they're just meant to be.
Yeah. We're still talking about The Simpsons, by the way. This isn't us jumping into some serious family drama show. This is still The Simpsons.
And it does. So this episode did have one of my favourite quotes for this week. Are you going to put the clip up just now? Or
I will jump in.
Chuck the clip up, Chris. Do it now.
Well, bye-bye. See you in church on Sunday, Marge.
Goodbye, Helen.
Goodbye, Helen.
Here it comes.
You have a lovely friend there. Let's hope something runs over her.
Well,
and there we go.
Bye-bye.
So,
see.
To everybody who's watching at home, they got to hear it, and it is Jacques talking to Marge about, I really like your friend. I hope she gets run over.
Yeah.
And it's just beautiful. It's a beautiful moment of them kind of connecting. They're having a moment.
Yeah.
But when you find out more about Jacques as well in this episode, just quickly before I move on, you realise, oh, you're a slimy guy, aren't you?
Yeah. I think it's later on, like, you see he's either got a bowling ball or he's got a name or something like that he's... No, he's on a team. It was when Homer is part of the bowling team, and their team is called the Home Wreckers. Because that's exactly what he is. He's gonna sleep with Marge, and then a week later he's gonna be with another woman, and you know that.
Yeah.
And Marge will,
Exactly.
Anyway, shall we?
Shall
we carry on?
Yes. The next episode in this season was Homer's Night Out, which
boy.
I have a lot of disagreements in this episode. Again, quick run through. Homer goes to a bachelor party, and there is a dancer. I am not calling her a stripper because there's no point in this where she takes her clothes off. She's as what she is. She's wearing a bikini.
She already has her clothes off. There's no stripping.
She's wearing a bikini. She's more of a... Later on in the season, she find out she's a belly dancer and things. She's more a burlesque dancer, which is, in my opinion, different. So, but anyway, he has a photo. Bart gets a spy camera and takes a photo of him dancing, which eventually leads back to Marge, and Marge kicks him out and is about to leave him for dancing with this person at a bachelor party. Now, that's the episode. They get back together because Homer makes a speech, which again, another thing I disagree with. There's a lot of bits of this that I just don't like. It's a good episode, but I hate the message that they put out. I get what they're trying to say, but they say it in very, this is the 90s way that kind of gets to me.
Yeah.
So this episode, when it goes through to it, it's all about Marge, in my opinion, jumping to conclusions without ever once talking to Homer about it. It calls him like disgusting and live in the filth that you've created when she kicks him out the house, and I'm like, he did give her money, so that's where there's a chance that there's a stripper, because she did put money in like a wee G-stringy thing. But it's a bachelor party where she knows fair well what a bachelor party then was.
So Homer never told her that the type of bachelor party was. He did say it was very like, it was a fingers out, tea and crumpets sort of affair, I believe is what he said.
Yeah, but she knows he was lying.
So
she knows, like, it's Homer, for God's sake. And
yeah, she would have to expect by that point.
And again, it was a lot of these things of how blown out of proportion for the whole town about him dancing with a paid dancer.
Yeah.
She was doing her job. That was her job, to entertain them the way that she entertains them. That's her job.
Yeah.
And she did her job. There was no emotional connection. Homer didn't even look like he had the emotional. He just had a laugh, and then went home to his wife quite happily. Didn't go home with her. Didn't do anything. But then got kicked out of his house, and Marge's about to leave him, and I hated that until she starts deciding. Mark brings up, it's a Christian value thing, which is really annoying because it's so in your face in this episode of, you're mine, so that means that you can't talk to or look at or be with, not be with, but like go anywhere near anybody that's not me. Oh.
So that also links to a couple points I could make. One, this coming from the woman who in the previous episode was this close to having an affair.
Yeah, it's like hypocrisy. Thy name is Marge.
Exactly. And if you're going to bring Christian stuff into this, right? So, I don't know how many people really know me who are watching this, but my wife, my lovely, beautiful wife, is a Christian. Not like super religious. She's a Protestant Christian, but just a Christian. She has religious beliefs. I do not. But I am... This is going to make me sound like a terrible human, but I am very much one for noticing how attractive the opposite, or I'm very one for noticing how attractive women can be.
I love how you're tiptoeing around how you can say this.
I'm walking around Legos here, people. I'm walking around Legos. But no, I am very much one for, even when I'm out with CJ, I'll just go, look at her. Look at that woman over there. She's beautiful. And CJ will be like, yeah, cool. And I'll be like, no, but she's beautiful. But CJ knows, my wife, at the end of the day, knows she's the one I go home with. She's the one waiting for me at the end of the day, and I'm going to be there waiting for her at the end of the day.
Yeah. Me and Donna have the exact same thing, but usually for me, it's big muscular men. I'm like, mate, look at him. And she's like, yes, Chris, that's another guy that's muscular. I'm like, I know, but look at him. Oh, the biceps.
Respect him.
I know. It's like, please leave me for him. Look at him.
Look how much better you could be doing.
Exactly. It's like, my appreciation has always been lent that way for some reason. But yeah, anyway, this is the thing that got me this episode. Let's get back on topic.
Sorry, yes, we've gone a bit off here.
Not me talking about...
All that champagne's going to my head.
Yep. Mark, same. Dudes or chicks got to respect the dip. The drip, sorry, not the dip. That's me.
Yeah, like it's just if you see an attractive person.
Yeah, like whoa. But the thing that got me with this one was about the message of respecting women. That's what this message was about. It's about respecting women, which is a very fair message to put out there. It's a very fair thing to do.
Absolutely.
Totally can tell it was written by guys because instead of having this moment of, say, Marge and Bart going and doing the things about respecting women and then having some kind of dialogue with Homer about it, Homer did it because Bart looks up to Homer, kind of get it, but instead, no, even the dancer got to say much. Homer made a speech about how we need to respect women because they're our daughters, they're our wives, they're our mothers, and then everybody in the club decides, oh, we can't watch this, we can't do this, and I'm like, awesome, lovely, kind of nice moment of this middle-aged guy fighting for the women in this episode who have their own voice, who could have done it themselves. It's like, and then all the people that are workers there must be like, so does that mean I'm worth nothing because I do this job? Like, I choose to be here, and they don't get a chance to say anything, and it kind of annoys me because it's this like, it's that white knighting thing of it's only true if it comes from Homer. It can't come from Marge, or it can't come from Lisa. It's like this episode should have been about Marge and Lisa, or at least Homer and Lisa, not about Bart.
Yeah.
Because that's where the respect falls. Bart's a child who can learn.
Yes.
Lisa needs to know that people respect her from the get-go. Not needs taught to be that. Bart needs taught because Bart's dumb and looks at his dad as if this is moral guidance, which kind of gets me this whole time. That's the crux of this episode for me.
So, what could have been done differently, in my opinion, what they could have done was, instead of just having Homer and Bart go out, have the whole family go out in search of this dancer to try and find them. And at the end, when they find Princess Kashmir, Marge could... What?
Just you knew her name? Like, I forgot her name. That's not good for this episode and everything we're talking about.
For one, my memory's not bad. For two, I do have the Wikipedia open here. But, so, the whole lot of them, they go up, and Marge sort of grabs Homer by the wrist and says, come on, Homer, we're going to apologize to this woman. And goes up and says, hello, whatever your name is. Now, Homer, apologize to her for treating her like the object that you did. And Homer gives his apology, blah, blah, blah. But then Princess Kashmir turns around to Marge and goes, hold on, fuck you. I've wanted to do this job since I was a child. My mom was a dancer. I'm a dancer. It's what I've always wanted to do. I enjoy it, and I'm damn good at it. So fuck you.
Yeah. Maybe not those words for a show that's
maybe not those words, but you know what? Something to that sense of, you know, her just sort of owning her place and her position.
Yeah, it's just like, take away Homer's speech and give it to one of the females. See, even at the smallest end, have it the other way around. Of like, it's Marge it looks for them, and it's Homer just upset that he thinks he's lost his wife, and then when she speaks to her, realising that she's a person as well, because she treats her like an object just as much as Thingway does.
Even more so, because she like brings up the idea that Homer has treated her like an object. Well, hold on, you've said that he's objectified her, but he's just she is doing her job, and Homer is participating in that.
Exactly. As Donna put it, perfect alternative, those words exactly. So you have Donna on your side for your alternative ending.
Yeah, and you can especially tell it was written in the 90s, because I think they've gone with if a man says it, people will listen sort of mentality. If the dancer went up and said that, people would just be like, fucking bleh. But they've gone with if Homer says it, then maybe people will listen.
Exactly.
But
now, we'll get back to a bit lighter moment. The Crepes of Wrath. Bart fucks it for himself quite hard. Gets out of trouble again by blowing water up Principal Skinner's mum's backside. And the events lead to him living in France. Because that's how it's done. And he's... Do you know what? See, this episode, it's got a couple of funny moments. But all in all, it's a non-episode. It was like Call of the Simpsons. It's just a palate cleanser after a couple of heavy episodes. Which, at the end of this, I want to talk about the season as a whole. So we're going to kind of quickly go through some of these. So with the Crepes of Wrath, one of the big moments, and that is when you find out that the wee boy that comes from Albania to live with the Simpsons is actually a spy looking for nuclear material because, you know, Soviets and, you know, communism. Blah, blah, blah. He gets found out, and that's kind of it. Bart learns French after being slightly abused in France in a cartoony way.
Slightly abused?
He got to drink wine.
He was forced to drink antifreeze.
With wine. Like, I don't see your
sorry,
problem.
Yeah. I'm sorry, I wish I could drink antifreeze.
As he says, he's not even blind after drinking it.
Yeah, I mean, it could have been worse.
But do you have anything to say on this episode? Because I don't really have much to kind of say on
it. It does have another one of my favourite quotes from this season. Do you want to line up that clip for me?
Welcome to your new home.
Escape is impossible.
My name is Cesar. This is my nephew. Welcome to your new
it's
home.
the smallest quote in the world.
Yeah.
I was going to get a bit more into that, but I realised that's the funny part of that quote. It's just...
it's, welcome to your home. Escape is impossible.
Beautifully done. Beautifully done.
It's so simple, so subtle.
So we're going to actually breeze past the Crypts of Wrath to a biggie. This is a big biggie. This is like one of the big first celebrity cameos as well.
Yeah.
Krusty gets busted.
We did previously have Albert Brooks, who appeared in a couple episodes. Nothing major, though.
Don't know who he is.
No, he's a sort of mainstay with a lot of voice work.
Okay.
I mainstay with The Simpsons as well. He does feature in a lot of episodes, but this is the first sort of big celebrity cameo.
We've got Kelsey Grammer as Sideshow Bob, and
that voice.
See, when he was reading the book of the Man in Iron Mask, I'm going.
I want that audiobook.
Yeah, I said that to Donna. I was like, "Whoa, we need this audiobook." But
yeah,
a pretty simple episode of we find a bit more about Krusty and Bart's relationship and the idolization of Krusty. He robs the Quickie Mart, and Bart doesn't believe it. Him and Lisa go and solve the case and find out it's Sideshow Bob. He was the one that robbed the Quickie Mart. He goes to jail. Bish bash bosh. Episode end. Everything is back to normal.
Yep. I did like how there was a sort of everything was sort of laid out, but see when Bart and Lisa go on their clue finding hunt. Everything just seemed to fall on their lap. Everything seemed so simple. Since Lisa was there spelling everything out for Bart, it all seemed so...
Yeah.
I get at the end of the show, like, Sideshow Bob's just like, that was just coincidence. He didn't follow the doctor's orders. Blah, blah, blah. But, like, it was all just sort of laid out. Like, Bart couldn't have figured that out on his own.
Yeah. I know, very true. It's like, it was one of the episodes that had to bring Bart and Lisa together. Like, they realised that they were good. I think the biggest kind of bit is this is a lot of their realizations from Lisa that how crap Krusty was. Because when Sideshow Bob takes over the show, because that's his plan, is like, I need to take over the show. And Lisa goes, actually, he's teaching us about humility, empathy. We're going to do readings. And it's actually quite good. He makes the show better.
Yeah.
But by being a bastard to get there, which, ain't great. And outside of him, a stellar voice actor in Sideshow Bob, it's another one of those episodes where it's iconic for what happened, but there's nothing to kind of dig up on it. It's just an episode that's good, in my opinion. Like, there's nothing amazing about it. There's nothing terrible about it. It's just a good episode.
It's memorable.
Yeah.
But it's not one you could talk about at length.
No. So in that case, we shall move on to the last episode of the season. That's right, guys. We've made it to the end of the season. And it's called Some Enchanted Evening. And
Marge explodes.
Yes.
Kind of.
This is our first explosion. Our second one's the one where she ends up staying in her car on the bridge, where she just loses it and just stops because she's so stressed out and she has to go to the day spa. I think that's actually in season 2, so we'll go to that next.
Right.
If you want to take us through this one, actually, since I have ran through the other ones.
So, Some Enchanted Evening is... Everyone's getting ready in the morning, and everyone just sort of... Marge is laboriously made up all their fancy lunches, and she's cooking all the breakfasts, and she's taking care of everyone, making sure they're all prepped. And then everyone just sort of scoots. Oh, we're late for the bus. We got to run. We've got money. It's fine. Homer, here's your lunch for you, Homer. Oh, got to drink the coffee. Bye. And then Marge just sort of phones up Dr. Marvin Monroe. He's back. And she just sort of goes crazy. And not crazy. She just sort of unleashes hell. Marvin Monroe says, if he doesn't give you the respect you deserve, you're going to have to leave him. I'll leave Homer? Oh, don't use his real name. Leave Pedro?
So
The cat's out of the bag already.
Oh, it's
Don't.
so great.
But then Homer does. It's one of those. Oh, Homer realizes he's fucked up. He brings home flowers and chocolate.
Do you know what I liked about that when him coming home? Before we get to the, because this is a tale of two different fucking stories that happen to jam together.
I know.
It's one of the few times that you see Homer really sad. Like, I liked how sad he was. Like, he felt like and he did actually do his damnedest to make this better.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he went, I'm going to actually do my best. After Mo giving him good advice, what's with Mo being about here, guys?
So I get that. It's an old sort of sitcom gag of being able to go to the bar. It's, you know what, I think this sort of takes a lot of inspiration from Cheers, where you can go to the bar and the bar guy's going to be like, what's on your mind? And this is like, he's cleaning a glass. He's not, I don't know.
I don't know what you're doing.
I'm not going to do that anymore. I feel dirty now. But yeah, he's cleaning the glass and he's like, what's on your mind, bucko? And yeah, it's that kind of thing of the bartender giving the advice.
Yeah.
But yeah, Homer and Marge, they go out dancing, they go out dinner, they go out dancing, and then they fucking slam.
It's actually
probably
really sweet. See the build up of this. It's actually really nice. You see the first time you see the better part of the relationship, because you don't get to see the good part of the relationship very often because it's not interesting television.
No.
Then things go nuts. Then somebody takes the switch and just throws it away and go, "We're going to do something else."
Yep. So apparently the babysitter they've hired is a massive criminal. Can you remember the name of the babysitting company, Chris?
No.
I don't have it here, but can you remember it?
No.
Rubber Baby Buggy Bumpers Babysitting Service.
Oh, you out Arnie quoted me. I didn't pick up on an Arnie quote in the Simpsons episode.
Rubber Baby Buggy Bumper Babysitting Service.
I think I'm ready to retire from this and just have somebody step in.
No one will ever. Is that from Kindergarten Cop or something, or is that?
No, that's from Last Action Hero.
Right.
Basically, what happens is the wee boy goes into the film, and he knows all the lines, and then when he comes to the real world, he goes, "Rubber Baby Buggy Bumpers." Like, ha! You didn't think I was going to say that now, did you?
Right.
So yeah, there you go. Redeem myself.
Okay, but yeah, apparently she's the babysitter bandit, where she'll just be babysitting and then she'll fucking tie up the kids and steal all their shit.
Which is actually quite sinister. That guy's so sinister.
It's quite a horrifying thought and makes you think never to hire out with someone you know for a babysitter. Like, fuck that.
It's such an American thing that this was a thing. See, the idea of just like, this lassie up the road, you could be our babysitter. Like, I don't know you.
But then, like, a lot of American style babysitting things was like the next door neighbor's young daughter was always the one who would babysit and stuff like that. But yeah, that sort of took it, and they get freed by Maggie
because Maggie is always the hero.
Which is actually a thing that would come back so often throughout the entire thing. Is Maggie saves the day?
Yeah.
When are people going to realize the massive potential of Maggie Simpson?
Yeah. Like, the only time you ever see her potential as a grown-up is when Lisa gets the fortune-telling of her future, and she's a singer.
Yes.
She's like a rock star. She still never gets to speak in the episode.
Nope.
But she's a rock star. And it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Again, another episode that didn't have much kind of going on. It had a really funny moment at the end. I should have clipped it, of Homer letting her go. And then the news fans showed up like, did you actually just obeyed and helped, or whatever they call it?
Aid and abet.
Yeah. And he's like, no. It's like a kung fu film. She learnt my moves, but I know her moves now, so don't you come back here. Like, is it fucking sweet?
Oh, he's such an idiot.
But
so I can't remember. Now I used to watch like a lot of all the DVDs and stuff with the audio commentary from the writers, directors, stuff like that. This is like after I'd watched it through once, I'd watch it again just with the commentary. And I can't remember if it was here or if it was in a later episode, but a lot of the animators and writers have admitted that a lot of the costumes that they've drawn Marge in, they're like, oh, that's pretty skimpy. That's, quite like that. Yeah, so many of them are just like, oh, Marge is pretty hot. And like,
no,
sure,
okay. If Marge was like a 60-year-old, like, there's a little bit of ankle for you.
No, but like she does turn up and she's got the one that's like when they're in the hotel
Yeah.
for the Some Enchanted Evening, yeah.
That's probably
yeah.
the only one that's kind of on that side of life. Like her orange dress is minging, man. See
Her
that
orange dress?
Our orange one she wears in the night out.
Oh,
It's got like the
yeah.
double dress thing going on.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
This was season 1, guys. This was season 1 of The Simpsons. And just before we move on to our final thoughts on the season, and I would like to rate it. I'm going to do a 1 out of 5 rating for each of these seasons.
1 out of 5?
10.
God.
Do I do 10? Do I do 1 out of 10?
I mean, that's sort of prefer 1 out of 5 is so limited, man.
Limitations breed creativity. I stand by that statement.
Oh.
Mark brought up a great thing that we might to jump into, a special, shall you say, of the top 10 mental breakdowns. His number 1 is Flanders, which is one of the most beautiful breakdowns ever.
Oh.
And the realization that Diddley is because he has to try and stop himself fucking murdering.
Hurricane Ned.
Yes. So good. But I think that would be a good one for the three of us. We'll get Mark on the Simpsons one. We'll have a talk about the biggest breakdowns in the show. We'll even do a few of them. I think that's a good idea for down the line.
Okay.
So season 1, on review.
Sure.
I think this was 100 times better than I remember it being.
Why? Okay.
This, as an adult, seeing all the nuances of it that I'm completely missed. I hated this when I was younger, season 1. I thought it was boring as hell. But now, watching it through my eyes and the experiences I've had, man, this show has got emotional depth better than most sitcoms of the time. God, this season has more emotional depth than most sitcoms than now. Like, we're watching a bit of The Big Bang Theory, and the emotional depth of it is the shallowest thing I've ever seen.
Has the emotional depth of a fucking shopping board?
Yeah, it's so bad. And then watching this and realise I'm bringing up very complex issues and at least putting an attempt to try and explain them in 20 minutes with still being a funny cartoon. So for me, season 1 is a 8 out of 10, because I think 10 out of 10 needs to be for stratosphere level stuff. Like, I'm talking about Hank Scorpio.
No bad episode in the whole season.
Basically, every episode needs to be as good as the Hank Scorpio episode. Because that is my all-time favourite, because that is so beautiful.
What are we going to do when we get to the season with You've Only Moved Twice and it's just utter garbage the rest of it? Is that still going to be a 10 out of 10 for you?
Oh, no, we'll get there when we get there, because that could fucking ruin it for us.
I want to give this like the cheapest rating of all, a 7 out of 10. And it's the most cop-outy rating of all, because it was good. It's better than I remember, as you say. Like, but there's still a lot to be questioned, especially in terms of like the time limitations for like animation quality and stuff. The writing, the messages they're putting across are from a different time, and we do need to remember, while a lot of adults would have watched this, with their children, this is a show aimed at kids.
Yeah.
The stuff you've got in there, particularly Homer's suicide attempt, and the possibility of an affair, might have steered it a little bit away from your target audience.
True.
But it is a cartoon. There's funny jokes and stuff to be had.
Those points are a very good point to kind of take the rating down, because the show changes of what it is. It becomes a more teen-orientated show. But that's something we kind of need to look in once we've watched a good bit more of it, of the evolution of it.